I beg your pardon for the weather. We were congratulating ourselves today for having moved commencement to the evening to escape the heat, and we got the rain. Let us rise and join in the singing of the first stanza of our national anthem, and then remain standing for the invocation by the Reverend Howard W. Miller of Second English Lutheran Church.
Let us pray. God, we are grateful tonight. We are especially grateful that you have created schools of learning, particularly Gilman School. We are grateful for that great cloud of witnesses who surround us this night, our founders and our predecessors who, through the years, helped shape this institution. We are grateful for the ministry of learning carried on here by the men and women whom you have called into this special service. We are grateful for the variety of learnings taught here, learnings not all from textbooks and from courses of study. We are grateful for the successes of our sons, and yet we are mindful of their failures too. And we ask you to forgive them as we do, for the challenges they dropped, for the opportunities they missed, for the good judgment they failed to exercise. And so keep them mindful that what's done cannot be undone. But more important, help them learn from the errors of their youth. Help them learn from all the experiences of life. Help them see learning as a continuing process, and help them realize, wise as they are, they have not yet all the answers. Lord, guide them to be alert to the world and to its people. Help them in their concern for all men to be innovative and responsive and ready for change. Help them love their fellow men as you love all men. Father, continue to bless and guide Gilman School. And God, look with favor upon the events of this night. Amen.
On this 74th Founders Day, and the occasion when we celebrate the completion of studies at Gilman by an outstanding group of young men, it is fitting to emphasize the achievements of the class of 1971 and to pay tribute to their accomplishments. The highest degree of scholarly excellence in the graduating class is recognized by selection as valedictorian. It is an honor and a privilege for me to introduce to you a person who has not only achieved academic distinction, but is an individual of unusual sensitivity depth of understanding and character. I give you John Matthias Copper, Jr.
I'm afraid that the recent storm has taken some of the thunder out of what I wanted to say. Mr. Daly, Mr. Finney, members of the Board of Trustees, members of the faculty, parents, friends, and fellow students. Making ends meet is what I would like to talk about tonight. For the generation on this stage and the generation of students here listening differ markedly in outlook from the generation of adults in the ceremony today. And we know that the simple gap of age between us is far less serious than the conflict of outlook. One culture nursed on television and the other not. One on crowded living and the other on open spaces. One on leisure, the other on work. And we are told that this gap is unbridgeable. But if we are moving toward one world, and it seems we are, then we will be moving toward it together. And it is common dilemmas that we must resolve. The dilemmas, I fear, are here aplenty. There are the specters of prejudice and discrimination, the fatiguing inertia of war, the humiliation of the working man, the disillusionment and alienation of all of us. How we handle them will determine the survival of each of us, but it must be admitted that now we are doing a bad job, that if we are to prevail on this earth, we must do better. Without being falsely optimistic, I think we will. We always do. But there is a greater question. How will we handle ourselves when we meet each of these crises? If we are to make surviving worth the effort, we must survive with our humanity intact. And there are some dangerous signs that we will not. For one, there is widespread polarization, not just on this question or that, but a polarization of our very attitudes toward living. People are dividing on the most basic of issues. Endlessly committing a mistake that philosophers have made for 24 centuries, we still insist today that all men can be divided into two parts, the men who reason and the men who feel. And to the men of feeling, the Age of Reason is still a book written in illegible medieval Latin, and to the men of reason, the Age of Feeling is nothing more than a collection of strobe lights. And for the first time in history, there's not only a youth generation, but a youth culture. A society unto itself, with inspiring potentials toward bettering the moral conscience of man, improving his aesthetic outlook, and easing our race painlessly into the dawning age of total mechanization and total affluence. But too often this culture has turned on itself, and introverted has been guilty of building higher walls between itself and other generations than our world can afford. We continue to take refuge in making each of life's problems binary, good or bad, right or wrong, black or white, instead of experiencing the fullness of life in living color. The second trend is more serious. Perhaps it is the result of mechanization, and perhaps it is the cause of polarization. We all feel intensely superfluous. We have moved in our thinking far past pessimism. Long since have we moved through absurdity, and now we are just tired. We seem to be biding our time. Our actions ring of stopgaps, our words of the mortality of approaching doom. All our attempts at unification result in terrifying phrases like progress with patience or freedom with responsibility. These phrases are without meaning and without hope. And all our doctrines have the flavor of last resort. Kenneth Clark saying that courtesy will ultimately save man. John Gardner, the concern will save him. And Michel Butour, that stupidity will. Well, we have all of these in abundance, certainly, but none is enough to save an age. Have we seen the death throes of common responsibility in the two riddled bodies at Jackson State? Did we see the end of national leadership with a president who died almost 8 years ago? We avoid unity and fragment ourselves with staying actions, while something incredibly precious is slipping through our hands. We fearfully double and treble the masks that we wear. I'm not sure we have ever been so conscious of this before, and we feel guilty. We find ourselves tempted, as at graduation today, to look over our shoulders instead of ahead. We are living our lives in reverse, finding it far easier to back into situations than to confront them, because we suspect that ahead is just another termination, another fall, another end. There is not a person in this room tonight who at one time or another has not looked at the experience of living and asked himself, is it only this? Is there no more? Well, it would be better to end on this question than to continue, because at this point each of us has to go it alone. It is a question that we ask together and resolve in separation. And if I gave you an answer, you would not carry it outside the door. And if you did, I would urge you to forget it, simply because ideas have a way of becoming dogmas overnight. And we should view with suspicion any attitude or position we hold unchanged over a period of time. I wouldn't continue, except that I don't think you should take this speech as seriously as I obviously am, and I can't end it very well on a pessimistic note. And also because I believe there is a certain fait accompli about the Gilman experience that unites us all here this evening. And we might see how the school has been lending itself to the problems of isolation and despair. What has Gilman to offer? In the long run, when we see there are schools that are as academically sound as Gilman, and there are such schools, when we see that schooling is not really as important in life as we might be led to believe, and it is not vitally important, we wonder, does Gilman have a special place today? But always underneath the academic rigor of the baseball games, wedged between the Count of Monte Cristo and word wealth, in the midst of the far drills and the terribly long speeches that open the year and close the year, always there is the strong statement of morality that holds the school together. Not you must have a particular set of values to be a man, but simply that you must have values. And in the midst of the turmoil into which the school has plunged herself, ceasing to educate elite men for an elite world, she has never abdicated her elitism of values. With a pride unmixed with arrogance, she has brought the world to her doors rather than herself to the world, and in doing so has not prostituted her traditions. Within the walls of Gilman each year continues to take place one of the greatest experiments in human relationships and living together that could be imagined. And from the kiln of that test emerge individuals better suited to face themselves. We are thankful to the faculty and to the headmaster and to those classes which preceded us and are following us for this encounter, and hope that they have learned as much in getting to know us as we have in getting to know them. This year graduates a class which learned the lessons of communication and integrity well. A class which cannot forget the qualities of friendship, understanding, and loyalty fostered here. We leave Gilman tonight, not without feeling to some degree isolated and alienated, perhaps even despairing. But we are driven by something more, our thirst for the human experience. Thank you very much.
It is now my great pleasure to introduce an individual who, by virtue of both his elected position and his leadership, is rightfully the spokesman for the senior class in the school. I give you the president of the class of 1971, who is also, by reason of his office, president of the school, David Jeffrey Rice.
Finney, Mr. Daly, Board of Trustees, teachers and faculty, and parents. What can one say about a graduating class? That they were intelligent, scholarly, that they were responsible and talented, that they were friends. The most important thing about the class of 1971 is that they were friends. I know many of you would be quick to say, well, this isn't odd. Most of the classes that have graduated from Gilman have had some friends in them. Yet I'm speaking about a very special type of friendship. To respect the opinion of others, even though that opinion may not agree with yours. To realize that everyone is not a stereotype of yourself, and that each person has a particular set of talents, and those talents must be respected by all. To recognize that each person is an individual, and each individual has the same rights. To perceive that each person is partly made up of a very strange phenomenon called emotion. And that to be a true friend, you must try and understand people's emotions, or another's emotions. And above all, you must respect their emotions. It was in this united belief, this special kind of friendship, this special kind of knowing one another, that the senior class got together. There were members of this year's senior class who stepped foot on this campus, I think it was first in 1957. And for those 13 years, they've seen an awful lot of high points. Admittedly, there have been quite a few low points, but today we won't discuss them. Today is the day for only happy occasions. In 1965, there were already omens of great things to come when we were in the first form. We set a record in the pre-circus ticket sales of taking in over $1,000. We went on for 5 years to win every circus in our high school career. And in our senior year, we were given the job of heading a circus which made $12,000, an all-time high. We were the first class in Gilman School ever to have a junior room, even though I know some of you faculty may put that down not as a high point, but as a low point. We like to think of it as a high point. Our class had the highest number of Merit Scholar semifinalists that's ever come down at Gilman. We had 15. A group of boys in the senior class were responsible for starting a new literary magazine, Vantage, which I'm sure many of you get. I think perhaps our finest moment was a rather nervous February evening. It was this February when a group of our seniors were all wrestling their way to MSA weight class titles. One boy going on and being selected as the MSA Wrestler of the Year, and the team coming home with the tournament championship. And back here on the old ranch, there were a group of seniors entertaining a rather packed house over in our auditorium with the show that many of you, I'm sure, saw, The Mikado. For some strange reason, God must have decided to give this class of 1971 an extra measure of emotion, a willingness to do for others, a devotion towards each other. We have formed relationships here at Gilman that will last an awful long time. We have formed an attitude towards Gilman that will last a long time, a good attitude. This pretty much brings me to the end of my speech, except that before we leave, there are a few messages that have to be sent. We must pause first to talk to the parents. Today is a day not really for celebrating the senior class. Today is a day for celebrating the parents. It's your day. This is the height of your, what you wanted us to become thus far in our lives. We thank you for everything that you've given us. We know it hasn't been easy for you, but we've enjoyed every minute of it. Before we seniors leave, we have to turn to the faculty and thank them for giving us the opportunity for learning not only from books and facts, but for learning about life and how to deal with it. Before we leave also, we've got to turn to the juniors and say, good luck for next year. It's not an easy year, but you'll find it an enjoyable one. Thank you.
Before making the various awards which are customarily given at commencement, I want to express our thanks to the donors who have made possible prizes which recognize accomplishment in many fields. We have printed in full the data on these awards in your programs because they recall for us families and individuals who have contributed much to Gilman through the years. I shall begin with awards in the various branches of athletics. The Culver Football Cup is the large cup on the table to the left and is inscribed each year with the name of the best varsity football player in the opinion of the coaching staff. This year the award goes to Frank Willard Davis III. Would he come forward? The C.B. Alexander Jr. Wrestling Cup is awarded to Gilman's best wrestler. Two boys have been selected to receive this award. They are William Hooper Gamper and Frank Willard Davis III. The class of 1939 basketball trophy is awarded to that varsity player who best combines fair play, leadership, and skill. This year, the award goes to William Samuel Brusillo. The Tyler Campbell Lacrosse Cup is awarded to that varsity player who is most valuable to his team and who has shown leadership and true sportsmanship throughout the season. Two boys have been selected to receive this award this year. They are Robert Merrick Pinkard and Edward Anthony Grassi. The Alumni Baseball Cup is awarded to the boy who has been of greatest service to the varsity team. And the award this year goes to Mark Aaron Bond. The C. David Harris Jr. Tennis Award is given to the player whose ability and dedication have made the greatest contribution to the team. The award goes to Stephen Joseph Laporte. The Donald Hoffman Memorial Cup is awarded to that boy who, in the opinion of the cross-country coach, has best combined effort and achievement in cross-country. This year, the award goes to another junior, Mark Raymond Fetting. The Dr. Philip Whittlesey Soccer Trophy was established in the fall of 1967 by Dr. Philip Whittlesey to be awarded to that boy who, in the opinion of the appropriate coaches, has made the greatest contribution to the school in his soccer participation. This year, the award goes to William Hooper Gamper. The William Cabell Bruce Jr. Athletic Prize is awarded to the boy in one of the 4 upper forms most conspicuous for general proficiency in athletic sports and exercises during the past 2 years, and this without having incurred the reproach of questionable conduct in any respect. This year, it gives me great pleasure to present this award to Frank Willard Davis III. Before coming to the academic awards, I would like to point out that at morning assembly 2 weeks ago, there were presented certain prizes offered by the alumni of Brown, Yale, Harvard, Princeton, and Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Also presented at that time were the Caruso Science Prize and the Wren Art Prize. Information regarding the recipients of these awards is published in the commencement issue of the Gilman News, which will be available at the door after these proceedings are concluded. The academic honor roll is enclosed in your Founders Day program. We congratulate all of those boys who have won distinction. The William S. Thomas Scholarship Prizes are presented to those boys in each form for highest scholarship. Listed in your program are the names of persons in whose honor these prizes are given. I ask the following individuals to please come forward as a group who are the leading scholars in each of their forms. First form, Arthur Menadier Cromwell. Second form, Thomas A.W. Miller. Third form, Andrew Braderman. Fourth form, Andrew David Bershad. Fifth form, Stuart Hill Thompson. and sixth form Charles Harry Manikin. I would also like to recognize at this time 5 members of the class of 1971 who are among the 14 National Merit Scholarship finalists represented in this graduating class. And these 5 have won scholarships to colleges of their choice. I'll ask these gentlemen if they will stand. William Brucelow, Harold Jones, William Sherless, Alvin Thompson, and Mark Wilson. It is also a great pleasure for me to share with you a communication which the school received this past Saturday from the Commission on Presidential Scholars. I am very proud to announce that Alvin Thompson has been designated by President Nixon as one of 121 presidential scholars in the nation, and I wish Alvin would please stand again. We're very proud of Alvin, and he will have an opportunity to make a trip to Washington to meet the president. We come now to prizes for various activities. The first 3 awards are to underformers, and I ask these boys if they will come forward as the prizes are announced and as their names are read. Our literary magazine, Vantage, has established a prize awarded to those first and second formers who submit the best pieces of poetry and prose. The prize for poetry goes to a second former, Stuart McKay Wolf. The prize for prose also goes to a second former, Joseph H. Hooper III. Would those 2 boys come forward? The Lewis Omar Woodward Award is given to that member of the 3rd form who has revealed in largest measure qualities of leadership, enthusiasm, and loyalty. It is awarded this year to Andrew Murray Brooks. The Armstrong Prizes for Poetry and Prose are given for the best lyrical verse contributed to the school's literary magazine and for the best imaginative prose. The award for prose goes to Michael Isaac Blum, and the award for poetry goes to 2 boys, Christopher Zand Minkowski and Sims Guest Walsh, Jr. The Elizabeth Woolsey Gilman Prizes are for the best examinations on books, the reading of which is not required as part of the school curriculum. For the second consecutive year, they go to the following: Senior Prize, Michael Isaac Blum, and Junior Prize, William Sherman Reese. In regard to the Mrs. J. Crossan Cooper Debating Cup, the winning team in the school's final debate this year was the Knicks, which upheld the negative side of the debate on the topic, resolved that human nature precludes world peace. The names of the winning team will be inscribed on the tall silver cup, which is on the table to my right. I ask the members of this winning team to please rise at their seats as I read their names: Joseph Eric Sandler, John Matthias Copper Jr., and Charles Blake Duff Jr. The Dr. John M.T. Finney Senior Debating Prizes are awarded each year to two outstanding speakers in the annual school debate. They are given this year to first speaker, Charles Blake Duff Jr., second best speaker, Charles Harry Manikin. The sixth form speaking prizes are awarded to the boys who deliver the best speeches in chapel. The name of the first speaker is inscribed on the Jenkins sixth form speaking cup on the table to your left. The first speaker this year is William Samuel Brusillo, and the second speaker is Bertram Weber Burney. The Cameron Debating Medallion is awarded for excellence in debating, based on work in the fifth and sixth forms and in the final debate. This year, the award goes to an outstanding debater and speaker, Charles Blake Duff Jr. The Alec Randall Jr. Memorial Prize, awarded to that boy who has been outstanding in his interest and contribution to literary or publication activities, or has encouraged younger boys in these fields. This year, the award goes jointly to Joseph Eric Sandler and John Matthias Copper. The Class of 1952 Drama Prize, awarded each year to that member of the graduating class who has shown exceptional interest and aptitude in dramatics during his school career. It goes this year to two seniors, Charles Harry Manikin and William Lewis Sherless. The the John M.T. Finney Senior Essay Prize, I should slip on that one, made possible through the generosity of Mr. Richard F. Cleveland, is awarded to that member of the graduating class who submits the best written essay on some current aspect of democracy. The subject for this year's essay was, "Is the U.S. Constitution an outmoded document?" The award this year goes to David Christopher Miller. The Janvier Science Prize is given to that fifth or sixth former who has evidenced real interest and ability of a high order in the field of science. This year it goes to William Lewis Sherless. The Herbert E. Pickett Prize for General Proficiency in History is given to the boy in one of the two upper forms who has shown the greatest general interest and proficiency in history, as displayed not only in the classroom but outside as well. The winner is Charles Blake Duff, Jr. The prize for proficiency in French is given by the Alliance Française to that boy in the fifth or sixth form French class deemed most proficient by that department. This year the award goes to Charles Harry Manikin. The D.K. S.D. Fisher Nature Study Award goes to that boy in one of the upper three forms who, through his studies, reading, and activities, has developed a real interest, understanding, and appreciation of some field of natural history. This year, the award goes to a junior, Walker Ward Abel. Each year since 1962, the faculty has wanted to single out a number of seniors to whom we feel especially indebted for helpfulness and many unsung contributions which have added greatly to the success of the school year. This is always difficult, perhaps quite dangerous, for we clearly run the risk of omitting a number of boys who are equally deserving. In spite of the risk and because of the significant contributions of the young men who make up the class of 1971, I would like to present on behalf of the faculty framed etchings of the school as an expression of our appreciation. I ask that the recipients of these etchings come forward in two separate groups as I read their names. The audience is asked to withhold their applause until I have read the citations in each of the two groups. The first group, Edwin Lehman Baker, Thomas Brundage IV, Thomas McDivitt Casey, John Gressett Danzer, Frank Willard Davis III, Charles Blake Duff Jr., William Hooper Gamper, Michael Huntley Hilliard, John Matthias Copper Jr., Charles Harry Manikin. I'd like now to read these citations. To Bucky Baker, from the faculty, in appreciation for his example of personal courage his unrelenting commitment to excellence in whatever he does, and his empathy and compassion for his fellow man. If it's possible, I'd appreciate if you can hold the applause till we read all the citations. Thomas Worthington Brundage, IV, from the faculty in appreciation for his many helpful acts and for the unselfish spirit and moral courage with which he faces every endeavor. Thomas McDivitt Casey, from the faculty in appreciation for his keen perception, his quick wit, and his many and diverse contributions to the school. John Gressett Danzer, from the faculty in appreciation for his boundless energy, his unflagging determination to succeed, and his generosity and thoughtfulness to others. Frank Willard Davis III, from the faculty in appreciation for the manner in which he makes use of his mental and physical talents, his keen perception and sensitivity, and the quality of his leadership. Charles Blake Duff, Jr., from the faculty in appreciation for his unique and refreshing charm and personality, his perpetual kindnesses and contributions to others, and his devotion and loyalty to the school. William Hooper Gamper, from the faculty in appreciation for the example of quiet determination, discipline, and courage with which this little giant has faced every mental and physical challenge, and for his countless contributions to the school. Michael Huntley Hilliard, from the faculty in appreciation for his many services to the school, the spontaneity of his response to the needs of others, and his constancy of character and moral purpose. John Matthias Copper, from the faculty in appreciation for the exercise and benefits of his mind, for the unusual example of scholarly achievement, and for his unrelenting commitment to the pursuit of truth. Charles Harry Manikin, from the faculty in appreciation for the quality and versatility of his many accomplishments, the depth and breadth of his mental capacity, and the warmth and modesty which emanate from his generous personality. I would like to read 9 more names and have them come forward in the same manner. Hugh Perry McCormick III, Robert Taylor McLean Jr., Marvin Neal Miller, Christopher Zan Minkowski, Alfred Turner Nelson, William Ruff, David Bernard Solenko, Sems Guest Walsh, and Lawrence Richardson Wharton Jr. Hugh Perry McCormick III, from the faculty in appreciation for his stalwart character, his perpetual commitment to the best that is within him, and the excellence of his accomplishments in athletic endeavors. R. Taylor McLean, Jr., from the faculty in appreciation for his moral and physical courage, his refusal to surrender in the face of adversity, and the warmth and friendliness which he radiates. Marvin Neal Miller, from the faculty in appreciation for his resolute character, constancy of purpose, and devotion to duty, and his many helpful acts for the school. Christopher Zan Minkowski, from the faculty in appreciation for his keen perception and mature judgment, the diversity of his accomplishments, and his ability to recognize the best in others. Alfred Turner Nelson, Jr., from the faculty in appreciation for his constancy of purpose, his modest and gentle spirit, and the high quality of his every achievement. William Matthews Ruff, from the faculty, an appreciation for his dignity and strength of character, and for the steadfast determination and perseverance he has displayed in meeting every challenge. David Bernard Solenko, from the faculty, an appreciation for his intellectual curiosity, the precise quality of his mind, and for the benefits which his unique talents and personality have brought to the school. Sims Guest Walsh, Jr., from the faculty, an appreciation for his remarkable sensitivity and compassion towards others, and for the pleasure and delight which has been felt by all whose lives have been touched by his talented and generous personality. Lawrence Richardson Wharton, III, from the faculty, an appreciation for his high sense of integrity, his generosity and compassion toward others, and the extraordinary effort and consistency with which he pursues every endeavor. The Peter P. Blanchard Award goes to that boy who, by his cheerfulness, in many ways has contributed to the successful and pleasant life of the school. The award this year goes to 3 boys: William Lewis Sherless, Alvin Wesley Thompson, Jr., and Markel Whittlesey. The Edward Fenimore Award is given to that senior whose Gilman career has been marked by accomplishment in which extraordinary courage, determination, and perseverance have been manifested. This year, the award goes to 2 boys, Timothy Patrick Conley and William Warwick Rich. The Daniel Baker Jr. Memorial Award, established by the late Dr. Mason F. Lord and continued through the generosity of the family, is given to a member of the graduating class who, through service and by reason of his life and character, has contributed to the general welfare of the school. This year, the award goes to Joseph Eric Sandler. The last prize is the William A. Fisher Medallion. It is given to a member of the upper 5th or 6th forms who has been in the school for 3 consecutive years. The medallion is awarded to a boy of high scholastic standing who has rendered the highest service that can be rendered the school by leadership based on the influence of character. It gives me great pleasure to award this award to David Jeffrey Rice. In addition to the senior class and the clergy who are sitting here on the stage are 2 men to whom the Gilman School is greatly indebted for their leadership, hard work, and dedication on behalf of the school. These men are Mr. Thomas P. Perkins, III, President of the Alumni Association, who is on the far left, and Mr. Owen Daly, II, President of the Board of Trustees. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Owen Daly, II. Mr. Daly has been a member of our board since 1951 He succeeded Dr. I. Ridgway Trimble as president in January of 1969. He is a distinguished citizen of Baltimore, and it's an honor and a privilege to work with him for Gilman. I give you Mr. Daly.
Mr. Finney, Jeff Rice, and Johnny Copper, and all of the graduating class of 71. John Gardner and Johnny Copper mentioned this a little earlier. John Gardner once said the goal of all schooling is to shift to the individual the burden of continuing his own education. And when this shift comes, it has to come from a faculty such as we have here at the Gilman School. This is, without a doubt, our greatest asset. It is a unique faculty because these men and women are not only teachers, but they are advisors, friends, and coaches to the boys that we have here in the school. So tonight is really not only a compliment to these fine young men, but also to our fine faculty who have once again made this day possible. And if I might be presumptuous, but I'm speaking of a hard-working faculty, and I'm not sure anybody has ever had a chance to speak for the fine group of trustees that we have here. As you might surmise, I am pretty proud to be associated with this school. But I'm also equally proud to be associated with a board of 31 men and women who on the average contribute over 50 hours of work to the Gilman School each week in the year. Their commitment is quite complete. In fact, it has been very complete. As you all obviously are well aware by now, we have been in the process of forming a program for the further development of the school. And this is, of course, our drive for the challenge of leadership for some $6 million. But this board of which I speak has made its commitment quite total, because from it and its family, immediate family, has come a commitment of over $1 million. So we feel that we have an excellent starting point. But I know the rest of the trustees would like to say to the graduating class, again, a wonderful job well done. It has been a great year. And to the parents, to the students, to the faculty, and to all the friends of Gilman, we the trustees are indeed very proud to be a part of your school. Thank you.
As is our custom, the diplomas will be awarded to the members of the graduating class by the President of the Board of Trustees. The order of distribution of diplomas has again been determined by a random selection for the information of the audience. David Jeffrey Rice. Stephen Adams Young. Stephen Waring Haley. Marvin Neal Miller. Melchijah Spraggins, Jr. Thomas Worthington Brundage, IV. John Matthias Copper, Jr. Alvin Wesley Thompson, Jr. Daniel Gross Finney. Nigel Robert Ogilvy. Thomas Key Lynn. Alex Albert Beeler. I should have remarked that Randy Beeler has been here for 13 years and hasn't missed one day of school. That's an accomplishment. Robert David Isaacs. James Francis Fusting, Jr. Dwight McClure Douglas. Richard Rowe Council. William Lewis Shirless. Lawrence Richardson Wharton, III. Jonathan David Ehrlich. William Boggs Radcliffe. Peter Ranson Menzies. Thomas McDivitt Casey. Bruce Cleveland Abel. R. Taylor McLean, Jr. Joseph Eric Sandler. Sims Guest Walsh, Jr. Mark Alexander Wilson. Markel Whittlesey. George Ross French, Jr. Edwin Lehman Baker. John Edward DeFord, III. Robert Merrick Pinkard. Peter Pulteney Andrews. Hugh Perry McCormick III. Bertram Weber Burney. Peter Waring Waxter. William Stewart McLean. Mark Aaron Bond. Peter Paul Stamus. John Gressett Danzer. Charles Juster Piven. David Christopher Miller. William Kirk Levedall. William Edward Hoatzin, Jr. Charles Blake Duff, Jr. Charles Edward Scarlett, III. John Tyler Campbell. William Hooper Gamper. William Kent Flowery. Frank Willard Davis, III. Christopher Belknap Green. Richard A. Fox. William Matthews Ruff. Gilbert Brown Benson, III. Richard William Willard Munford. David Bernard Solenko. Harold Philip Jones. Philip Merrill Wiswell. Raymond Lloyd Bank. Charles Harry Manikin. Michael Isaac Blum. Mark Edward Wallace. Carl Edwin Doré. William Samuel Brusselot. Alfred Turner Nelson, Jr. Lloyd Crosser Felton, Jr. William Warwick Rich. David Robin Lehenke. Frederick Meeker Spinning. Edward Anthony Grassy. Benjamin Victor Du Bois. Aubrey Earl Jarrett. George Wesley Gebhardt, Jr. Timothy Patrick Conley. Thomas Franklin Fisk. Edwin Warfield Merriman. James Scott McGowan Howe. Christopher Zand Minkowski. Michael Huntley Hilliard. It has long been a custom of Gilman to honor each member of the faculty at Founders Day on the occasion of completion of 20 years of service. Gilman has been very fortunate to be able to make many of these awards, which attest to the devotion and loyalty of its faculty. It gives me special pleasure to recognize two men whose contributions to Gilman have been outstanding. Mr. Reginald S. Tickner, the present head of our middle school, who was head of the lower school for 10 years before assuming his present position, and Mr. Alexander Armstrong, who's been a member of our English department since 1951. I'm not sure Mr. Armstrong has made it. He was bringing his daughter back from Duke, but if he's here, would he come forward, and would Mr. Tickner come forward? These proceedings are lengthy, I guess that's an understatement, and therefore I will make my closing remarks very brief. I do want to emphasize, however, that the faculty are strong in their belief that every moment spent in recognition of the achievements and contributions of the members of the graduating class on this public occasion is time well spent and extremely important and meaningful to us. Those of us who have been so fortunate to work in close association with the members of this class of 1971 take great pleasure in sharing with all assembled here our pride and esteem for these young men. As can be judged from the variety and number of awards made to the members of the graduating class, this class is obviously made up of a remarkable group of people. It would be very easy for me to dwell solely upon outstanding achievements of this class, both in the academic and extracurricular areas. However, that which many of us on the faculty will remember the most lies in a less tangible realm. Faculty and staff members who have been associated with this school for the longest amount of time cannot recall a group which has done more for the school and has been more devoted and loyal in the execution of countless services and contributions. The leadership of this class has been magnificent. Jeff Rice, Joe Sandler, Bill Rich, Chris Minkowski, David Salenko, and many others have not only been conscientious and faithful in the performance of their duties, but they have demonstrated a balance and maturity of judgment beyond their years. The collective leadership of this class has combined to bring the school an atmosphere of openness, of mutual trust and moral purpose, which has made this year most memorable. It is my personal opinion that the greatest contributions of this class lie in the realm of human values and understanding. In this present age, when rapid change, affluence, and unrest combine to tempt people, especially young people, to be cynical, to be disrespectful of institutions, and to resent authority, these young men have demonstrated human qualities of concern for others, self-discipline, and commitment, which have inspired all of us who have been associated with them. Their generosity of spirit, their devotion to the school, and their enthusiasm and zest for life will always be remembered. Speaking on behalf of the faculty, we are grateful for the opportunity to have worked with them, and we wish them every success in the future. We will follow their progress most assuredly with great interest. It is our firm conviction that these young men will continue to grow in stature, in strength of character, and in service to their fellow man. I would like to take this opportunity also to express profound appreciation and gratitude to the parents of the graduating class, which Jeff has already alluded to. Without parental support and the continuing exercise of parental responsibility, the young men sitting behind me would not be where they are, nor could the school have made much of an impact. As a favorite preacher of mine, Dr. Richard Evans from the Mormon faith, has written, parents may send their children to school or into other supervised activities and be physically free of them for a few hours or even many months, but still the primary responsibility for and the fundamental influence upon children must rest upon parents. I think it's a great tribute to the parents of the members of the class of 71 that these young men have achieved what they have. Now let me conclude by saying to the undergraduate students who will be returning, and I speak on behalf of the faculty, we are looking forward to the coming year with great anticipation. under the new leadership of Chris Taylor and other newly elected class officers and officers of various clubs and activities, we are confident that we as a school community will continue to strive for excellence in whatever we attempt to do. Although it is obvious that we will not always agree, it is my earnest hope that each one of us will strive always to render the kind of mutual respect to others that has been characteristic of this senior class. I know that you get tired of hearing it, but I would like once again to remind you that freedom is a privilege, not a right, and that lack of respect and the pursuit of selfish interests can only lead to the erosion of one's own liberty and opportunity for self-fulfillment. We as a school community have a great challenge and opportunity awaiting us, and let us face the coming year with the commitment that whatever we attempt to do, we will do it to the very best of our ability. I would like to extend to the whole school, in particular those leaving for college, very best wishes for a happy, constructive, and cooler and useful summer vacation. God bless you all. Now, let us conclude with the hymn, O God, our help in ages past, and then the final stanza of America. Thereafter, I ask you to remain standing for the benediction by Pastor Miller. Following the benediction, I ask that the audience please remain in their places until the student body has left. Let us now rise and sing, O God, our help in ages past. Let us pray.
Lord, it's almost over now. We're down now practically to that last Amen. And so as our sons leave here this night, as they walk from us in diverse and new directions, you be near to them, won't you? Guide them in the right paths. Keep them from all harm. Love them with your everlasting love. And then keep reminding them that it's really not over at all, but that it's just beginning. Amen.